Greetings! Today on my Focus RS I am installing this, the Adjustable Shift Plate aka Quick Shift from COBB. Alright, we're in under the bonnet, and that thing right there is the stock shift arm, and that is where we need to get to, but you can see it is located right underneath the airbox. So of course, before we get to installing our new shift plate, we need to remove the airbox. Alright, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of this electrical connection. You can see my loom tape is kind of coming off here, but we'll fix that at some point. So just at the top here, there's like a little thing that you squeeze and then it just pops right off, really handy. But then you'll see that it's also attached just right here, and that's just like a little plastic compression clip thing. And you just kind of have to yank it out and it should just pop off like that. So we can move that to the side. Now we can get to dismantling some things. So we're gonna take out this hose as well. So these are, you can either use a flathead screwdriver or you can use a 7mm socket. So now this part here, you can see these pipes that, these two air feeds that connect into the airbox, they have this sort of rubber thing on, and you just lift this tab and then this lifts the rubber connection. You can see the two pipes that are separate now. So we're going to get rid of this hose and these two clamps. Alright, cool. Now that that hose is out of the way and we have that electrical connection away, the airbox should just come straight up as far as I'm aware. It's just sitting on little grommets, so just yank it straight up. Alright, excellent. Now we have access, as you can see, to our shift arm, and on top this is our shift cable. So next thing is we need to pop this off. So to do this next stage, I'm going to use a pry tool. Now, I've got three different types of pry tool. I've got this one, which is metal, this one, which is a very hard plastic, and this one, which is quite a soft plastic. So all of these ones I use for different things, but for this purpose, I'm going to use the metal one. The hard plastic one, which is very, very stiff, this one would probably work as well, but I probably wouldn't bother using this one because it's very, very soft, and this would probably just break. You can, of course, if you don't have any kind of like pry tools, you could use just a decent sized flathead screwdriver just to get in there to pop that off. Boom. So yeah, the pry tool made that really nice and easy. So that is our shifter cable off, and you can see our stock ball end, and this is going to come into play with our shift plate from COBB, as you'll see in a moment. Alright, so in addition to the plate itself, you get this little thing, which is what goes underneath the plate to hold it secured. You get your little accessory pack, so you get two little Allen keys for different purposes. You get three of these bolts. Now these bolts, what they do is they go in the top, and then they screw into this bottom plate. You get thread locker. In my case, I got a little thing of Vibra-Tite. I have seen pictures where you get the Loctite thread locker, same sort of thing. So we're going to apply this to our bolts before we put them through and put them into this so that they don't come out under vibration. You get a little set screw that like goes in the side there. You get your washer. This goes through the washer and then into whichever one you wish. So if you want 20% shorter throw, you go into the 20% hole. 30% shorter throw, you go 30%, and 40% shorter throw, you go into the 40% hole, obviously. So it's adjustable, and of course you can come along afterwards if you put it into one of these ones and you decide afterwards, oh, that's not right for me, you can come again and put it into a different one. It's all adjustable, it's customizable, it is pretty darn cool. So yeah, next thing we've got to do is just set this in place. Then we're going to put the thread locker on. Whoa, hello. Then we're going to put the thread locker onto our bolts, feed them through, and then we're going to loosely get them secured to this. Then we're going to do our little set screw, tighten that up, then we'll tighten our bolts, and then we'll get onto the ball end, and then we'll be almost done. Now, one thing to note about this thing is, if we flip this around, this will only fit on one way. So long story short, you can see that this has a pointy end and then two rounded ends. The two rounded ends go on the outside, so then it is just a matter of making sure that you've got it the right way around in order to line up with your holes. I don't know if you really need to, but I'm putting a little dot of the thread locker onto my set screw, and I'm just going to get that started in the hole before we go in, because it's obviously quite a small little screw, and we don't want to be fiddling around in the engine bay with such a small little piece, because we could potentially drop it. So I'm going to screw it in as far as I can until I start seeing it poking through. So there I can see it. So that'll do right there. So that is ready to go. Move the shifter cable out of the way and just locate this down on top, and you'll see what I was talking about earlier. The stock ball end pops into this little hole right on top of the cob, and so yeah, it's only got a little bit of play, and then that set screw will just sort of hold that right in the exact correct position. Next up, we're going to go back and prepare our 3 bolts to go in the top. Okay, so we're going to take each of our bolts and we're going to get some of our thread locker on. The only part that we really need to do is like the bottom, like maybe ½ centimeter, because that is really the only part that's going to get any kind of engagement. So getting a decent little blob on there looks pretty good, so we just repeat that for all 3. Gonna drop our first one down through the hole, and then we're gonna go back and get our plate, and then we're gonna get our bigger of the 2 Allen keys, turn it a bit just to get it started. And now we repeat for the other 2 bolts, not super tight, just on there a little bit loose. Alright, now with the smaller of the 2 Allen keys that we had before whenever we put the set screw in the side, we're going to tighten that set screw up real nice, and that'll hold this just right in position up against the shift arm. There we go. That's nice and tight, not going anywhere. Alright, now we go back to the bigger of the 2 Allen keys and we tighten up our 3 bolts nice and snug. While you're tightening these, if you're using your right hand like I was, I would hold the weight end of the shift arm with your left hand, because otherwise it'll be like moving around into different gears and that's just really annoying. So just hold it here, tighten here, and you're good to go. And we are nice and good to go. Okay, we're back to our thread locker, and now the final piece of the puzzle is to put it onto the threads of our new ball end, which I am going to put into the 30% reduction position. 30% because it's in the middle, it's a little bit more than the likes of Mountune, which is 25%, but it's not as much as 40%. I don't know what 40% would be like in terms of strain on the cable and things like that. I just think 30% would be a nice sort of middle zone, so that's what we're going to go for, at least for now. This being thread locker blue, we can remove it in the future if we want, and we can put it into a different setting if we should so desire. So yeah, I'm not quite sure where the thread engagement is, so I'm just going to go right along. So now we put this through our washer and into whichever one we want, and like I said, I'm going to go with 30%. Okay, so I've got it hand tight, and now I'm going to come in with this, which is a 10mm spanner, or wrench, whatever you want to call it. Like before, I'm going to put my hand onto the arm itself just so it doesn't shift around. So you want to get this nice and snug. Ooh. Yep, just hold that like before. That feels pretty good to me. Alright, good to go. Alright, so next thing we need to do is just to put our shift cable onto our new ball end. Just locate it and push downward. Nice. Alright, the last thing that we need to do before we put everything back together is to reset the neutral position, and we do that very, very simply by, on this cable right here, we have this little plastic thing, and this is how we do this. So I think if you can see, like, it has like a little tab on top, and hopefully you can see underneath it there is another little white tab. So what we need to do is we need to push this one down and this one up, and then that will loosen this. Then we push it out to unlock, and then we have to run into the car and do some trickery in there. So I'll actually just do that. So up on one end, down on the other until it loosens, and then push. That is it unlocked. All right. So now we run into the car. Open her up. So I should have said actually we started off in the neutral position. Now we pop this down into 4. Run back into the engine bay, and we've just very simply popped this back in. So just push, nice reassuring click, and that is it done. Alright, cool, that's pretty much the installation of the short shift from COBB done. Now we just need to put our airbox back together, and that will be installation complete. So yeah, first part, getting the actual airbox back in. You can see maybe down here the little grommets that we're aiming for. So you can see I'm not quite getting it there, so I just need to move it up a little bit. So yeah, just locate it on the grommets. I believe there's 3 of them. You're probably not going to be able to see all of them, but if you get at least one of them and then move them around, you should feel it, and then just push it down in. Right, then you can close your little rubber flap over the tab like that. Now we can get our hose back in place. I had to pull the engine cover and loosen this a little bit just to get the proper angle to get this hose back on. A little bit annoying. Easier to get off than to get back on, oddly. Alright, now that that is all back, we get our little electrical connection from earlier. Push this into the hole, like that. Then just click this in, line it up, click, beautiful. That is installation complete. Well, there we go, that is installation complete of the COBB Adjustable Shift Plate, or Quick Shift as I like to call it. The installation was relatively quick and easy. I would say a lot easier than some of the other competitors because it's a bolt-on option rather than having to bang out the pin to replace the whole arm. It's really quick, really simple, and it also has the advantage that it's very easily also returnable to stock if you should so desire. So yeah, I hope you like that. I just gotta go out and see how it drives on the road. I'm gonna give the thread locker a chance to cure before I go really hard. Once it has cured, then I can go out and start enjoying it. So yeah, I like that. I hope you do too. I hope you like this video. Thank you so much for watching. Please do like, share, and subscribe for more content to come very, very soon. Thank you once again. Goodbye.